Why does this movie exist? No, really. Why does this movie exist? The original Cars was one of Pixar's weakest films. The characters were bland, the environments were bland, and worst of all, the story was bland. Now, I don't hate the original Cars, but it's not something that I'd watch again, and it's definitely something I didn't think you could make a sequel out of, which is something I still don't think. So why did they do it?
We've got to have money.
I want to show you something. The only Pixar movies grossing lower than Cars were WALL-E, Toy Story, and A Bug's Life. It was not the most profitable decision. What does this say? Does it say toy maker? No, it doesn't. It says filmmaker. A success for them is making a good movie, not a toy based on it. And with the Cartoon Network thing last week, this is really starting to annoy me. You should make a cartoon or animated movie based on how much you think people will want to watch it, rather than how many fucking toys you think you could sell based on it. It's an ass-backwards way of thinking that really has to fucking stop. I mean, if it starts as a toy, whatever. But to make a cartoon or a movie specifically to make a toy is fucking ridiculous. Alright, so because toys is why this movie exists. Here's a better question. Why does it suck so much? Because it does. It sucks quite a bit as a matter of fact. Let's sit down and try to figure out why.
Agent Leland Turbo. I have a flash transmission for Agent Finn McMissile.
Wait, what? I am watching the sequel to that movie that was largely a slice-of-life story about an egotistical idiot learning humbleness, right? So yeah, this is a spy movie. Great. Could have made this movie its own IP, but no, gots to sell the Mater toys. So he cuts to the Pacific Ocean where an Agent Finn McMissile is riding Theodore Tugboat. They're stopped by a battleship. Or so we're led to thinking. Agent Finn manages to sneak a ride to oil rigs that are on fire. I'm no mechanic, but I'm pretty sure that you want to keep fire as far away from oil as possible. Why are they all on fire? Anyway, he sees an evil professor look at a television camera, and he goes to get a closer look. This guy's supposed to be a spy, right? You know, those guys who try to be stealthy as possible? That is clearly why he's in such a vulnerable position where anyone could just look up and see him. Then we see that the other spy had been cubed. This is a kids movie, right? Oh, that's why there's fire on the oil rig. To have Finn blow his cover. Completely reasonable reason to bend the laws of physics. I mean, those guys on his level couldn't have possibly accidentally seen him. So we have an action scene that is surprisingly good, although they seem to be playing the majority of their spy cards really early. Eventually, Finn plunges himself into the water and jet skis away. A missile shot at him and he fakes them out. We finally cut to the star of the movie.
Major, Tow Major, that's who is here to help you.
Oh, you thought it was Lightning McQueen, that guy who's taking up most of the box art. Nope, he's a secondary character at best. The real main character is the guy who's tucked away in the corner. So, Mater does his job, and we get exposition that is totally useless to us. And Mater acts like an idiot. Get used to it.
Welcome home.
Good to have you back, honey.
Congratulations, man.
Hey, it's all these characters that were established in the first movie that were pretty much added as an afterthought to this movie. We get Sentiment that is completely forgotten about, and then Mater both has them acting like idiots. Then Lightning spends some time with his girlfriend, who is barely in this movie. Also, how does a town that was pretty much dying have a fancy restaurant like that? Then we see that there's this oil tycoon named Axel who ran out of gas in the middle of the jungle and created an environmentally friendly fuel named All in All.
Now listen to me. Big oil. It costs a fortune. Pollution is getting worse. I mean, come on, it's a fossil fuel, as in dead dinosaurs, and we all know what happened to them.
The writers realize that oil is pretty much the equivalent of water to these guys, and having environmentally friendly anything in a world populated by cars is really confusing, right? Axel is having a World Grand Prix to see what his fuel can do, and we see the typical racing villain. Weird. I thought that this was going to be a spy movie. Couldn't imagine why. Apparently Lightning was invited, but he's taking some time off. After Lightning has been insulted, we have the cliche where the idiot forces their friend to compete. Eventually Lightning gets on the phone and gets into the race.
We won't be long.
No, don't worry about me. I mean, I've got enough to do here. Mater's gonna have a blast, though.
And now we begin with one of the most novice, rookie mistakes that a company can make. Making the comic relief the main star. Comic relief are by and large foils. The main character is supposed to play off of them. And it is incredibly easy to have a comic relief overstay their welcome.
You're bringing Mater, right? You never bring him to any of your races. Just let him sit in the pits, give him a headset. Come on, it'll be the thrill of a lifetime for him.
Alright, he'll bring his friend, and not you, his girlfriend, on a round-the-world trip. Glad to see that you're okay with that. Bye. See you later. So they go on the plane on their way to Japan. And the movie takes a break to have the characters see the sights. This isn't a travel guide. It's a movie. And movies are supposed to have plots that don't take breaks.
Okay, now Mater, remember, best behavior.
You got it, buddy.
I want you guys to remember that line. Mater acts like an idiot and embarrasses Lightning, and we're apparently supposed to find this funny. Also, the character that should be the villain of this film has an enormous ego. Almost as big as Lightning's from the first film. Yeah, that's a large reason why I don't really care about the first movie. Finally, we get back into the spy stuff. Agent McMissile meets someone called Polly, and we learn that the camera from earlier is just a standard television camera. They need to meet an American agent, and because of spy reasons, Polly has to meet him, even though she's never seen him before. You probably know where this is gonna go. Then we get an obvious joke when Mater confuses wasabi for a pistachio ice cream. Then he embarrasses Lightning McQueen again. Okay, 1, how did you know that was water? 2, what does water do for cars? And 3, even if you did know that was water, was that really the closest source of water that you could find? Then apparently Mater leaks oil. That's kinda gross. Another obvious joke, and Mater enters the bathroom. Then we get a joke that might be offensive. Then the American agent enters the bathroom. Yep, you predicted it correctly, congratulations. 2 goons attack him, and the American agent puts his tracking beacon on Mater. So, obvious plot point is obvious.
This cannot be him.
Is he American?
Look out, lady. Mater's fitting to get funky.
Extremely.
Polly thinks that Mater is a spy, and Mater thinks that he's got a date. Then we get a rather interesting plot point. All in all, becomes extremely dangerous when hit by an electromagnetic pulse, and the camera shoots it. So we've essentially got a torture scene. This is a kid's film, right? He accidentally reveals that Mater is the spy. Yeah, rated G. We get to the first of 3 races. We get a bunch of details that don't actually amount to much because the movie has decided to change focus into a spy film. And I'm not going to lie, the Grand Prix becomes less and less important as the spy plot pretty much hijacks the film. But the race plot struggles to fight, and it ends up muddling them both. Also, the spies think that the stupid things that Mater does is clever spy stuff, so it's like Mr. Magoo. Meanwhile, Mater is giving some tips to Lightning. Also, the evil spies use the camera to explode an engine of one of the racers. They see that Mater is in the pits and go after him. Polly hijacks Mater's communication and tells him to get out of the pits. Meanwhile, Finn McMissile is doing the actual fighting. And while all of this is happening, Polly's instructions keep messing up Lightning McQueen. This forces Lightning to lose the race. Mater acts like an idiot, eventually saying that his girlfriend is just a voice in his head. Yeah, that's a major problem with this movie. The dialogue forces the plot way more than reasonable.
I didn't screw you up, did I? I lost the race because of you. I don't need your help. I don't want your help.
Wow, you changed your attitude towards your best friend on a dime. There's suspicion towards All in All that it might have caused those crashes.
All in all, it's safe. Alternative fuel is safe. There is no way my fuel caused these cars to flame out.
Then we get the sad part of the movie, and I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be feeling here. Am I supposed to be mad at Lightning snapping at Mater for talking to an imaginary girlfriend? Am I supposed to feel sad for Mater even though he doesn't realize exactly what he did? Or am I supposed to feel disturbed that he was going along with what he thought to be a voice in his head? Either way, he's thinking about returning to America.
Probably introduce myself. Finn McMissile, British Intelligence.
I just realized, he's voiced by Alfred from The Dark Knight. Well, that's going to be fucking distracting. Also, I love it how the sadness from the last scene is just entirely forgotten to revel in Mater's stupidity. And now we've got another chase scene. So they do have a few more spy cards. This leads Mater to trying to board a plane while they're getting shot at. And we got a poop joke. Lightning McQueen gets the letter that Mater is going home. Alright, enough of them. They aren't interesting enough to be the main characters anymore. So back into the real plot where Polly checks the device. And now that the real plot decides to show up, it starts to fall apart.
Whose engine is this, Mater?
Well, it's kind of hard to tell from this picture, ain't
But
it?
you're the one who took it.
Holly?
Oh, right. Yes, of course. A good agent gets what he can.
Yeah, there are these things called follow-up questions. They're like the bane of the existence of contrived plots everywhere. You'd think that spies would have a few, or that the plot wouldn't insultingly shut them down like that.
Like a good neighbor, Mater is there.
Wonder how much State Farm paid for that. They think that the photo is a dead end, but Mater sees some new parts.
Well done, Mater. I would never have seen that.
He never would have seen that? That's like the only thing of interest in the photo. They're fucking everywhere. This guy's a secret agent. Really? Yeah, right. Never would have passed the second level of Phoenix Wright, let alone spy training. Mater decides to help them out with their spy stuff because he feels like he's actually doing something useful. Although he's not really doing anything other than what he does usually. Oh wait, that's the moral. Sometimes being yourself is exactly what people need, and you should ignore the times when it hurts or embarrasses other people. Onward to Paris. And yes, the Gustavs in the background is pretty clever. They go through the bazaar, which is pretty much just filler, until Mater blows their cover and gets the criminal they're looking for to run away. They knock him out and bring him to an abandoned garage. Then we learn about the term lemon from Mater. Cars that don't ever work right. All of the cars that are in this plot are lemons. There are implications all over the place here, so you can connect the dots yourself. But seriously, are lemons like a race of car in this world? We cut back to the other cars, and I have to ask why. We already know what they're going to do. They're gonna race the races and nearly get blown up. The movie already decided that this plot is not interesting. It comes off as pointless filler. It's trying to focus on Lightning sending Mater home, but,
He's a close friend?
He's my best friend.
Then why would you ask him to be someone else?
Yes, kids, your parents are totally in the wrong when they ask you to be on your best behavior out in public. You're supposed to behave differently in different situations. Imagine if I started acting like I was doing a review out on the streets. People would look at me like I was fucking insane. Back to the important plot.
Hey, come here. Make me a German truck.
Request acknowledged.
Check it out. I'm wearing Mater hoosh.
Relatively speaking, of course.
The idea is to keep a low profile, Mater.
Have you ever wondered why you needed to tell a spy all the stuff that should be common sense to a spy? Anyway, for the final disguise, they have to fix all of Mater's dents.
Your dents are valuable. Really?
I come by each one of them with my best friend, Lightning McQueen.
So you've gotten every dent that you have in the last couple of years? Wow, I thought you were a bad influence on Lightning. Maybe he's a bad influence on you.
I don't fix these. I want to remember these dents forever.
And I want each pimple I ever had to remember each cheeseburger I ever ate. Give me a break.
In the meantime, you look a little light on weapons.
Yes, let's give the idiot an arsenal. I can't see how this could possibly go wrong.
You are looking live at beautiful Porto Corsa, Italy, on the Italian Riviera.
Strange how you have to tell me that during the lowest rendered scene in the entire movie. It looks like a Civilization game rather than a Pixar movie.
Independent panel of scientists has determined that all in all is completely safe, okay? Safe. Here it is.
Your scientists haven't determined that there's a slight flaw in it that makes it explode under electromagnetic pulses. You didn't run any studies on it at all, did you? Once again, I can't care about who's going to win this race, because that's not what the suspense is. The Italian car is almost a non-entity.
Is everything okay?
If you're worried about your fuel, man, don't. It's perfectly safe.
I just really wish Mater were here.
Yeah, even within this plot, the only thing that Lightning cares about is Mater. And we know that he's fine, so there's no suspense. Even when the race starts, they should be building up the camera cannons instead of worrying about this bullshit that the audience has been led not to worry about. Anyway, Polly convinces a tow truck to help her out.
Sounds like you'll need some roadside assistance.
She was talking to me.
You're not planning to replace him with Mater, are you? You know, that guy with an extremely distinct voice? And have him infiltrate some place with extremely high security? Oh wait, they are! Maybe I'm just being too judgmental. Perhaps they'll disguise Mater's voice.
Possible. Just apply the same level of dedication you've been using to play the idiot tow truck.
Look pretty tough. And wait, did you say idiot? Is that how you see me?
Yeah, that's also how Pixar, your creators, see you, since they've been playing up your stupidity for comedy throughout this entire film. The last one, and several shorts, starring you. Alright, so they're having him not talk. Gee, what a risk. I thought that the director would think that kids would get bored if Mater didn't act like an idiot throughout every second that he was on screen. Why am I even talking about the race stuff? I could cut every scene of this race out of the movie completely, and the plot would be largely unchanged.
Why, this place looks like it's made out of gold.
And he gets caught because of his completely different voice from the other guy.
Right now.
You are acting strange today, Ivan.
And they know the tow truck by name. How could anyone look at this script and not see the problem with it? Yes, Polly and Alfred are idiots, but do the writers think that I'm an idiot? Blah blah blah, it's a kid's film. But even kids could see the problem with this. They had three options here. One, they could have Mater shut up. Two, they could make Mater completely unrecognizable by showing risk and care for the story. Or they could do nothing and insult the audience's intelligence. But what do they care? They gotta sell a machine gun Mater toy.
He's so good.
You're milking this Mr. Magoo crap for all it's worth, aren't you? So they go to the meeting where the professor enters. Alright, let's count how many problems there are with this convoluted plot. Problem 1. When the hell did cars have fruit? The big boss, who no one refers to by name, any name, talks to them through a video phone. Why he can't do it through a normal telephone or a pure audio channel if he didn't want to be seen, I have no idea. Anyway, he gets them all angry because they're all outdated models. And no one makes parts for them anymore. Which is amazingly confusing. Problem 2. That's like not making pacemakers anymore because the only people who use them are too old. I could understand it, sort of, if these guys were poor, but they're all crime lords. Problem 3. Didn't Axel completely convert himself to a new kind of car? If it's possible for one, it's possible for all of them. Alfred and Polly learn that the camera is causing other cars to break down. Then we see the cars are starting to get angry at all in all.
The owners of the world's largest untapped oil reserve will become the most powerful cars in the world.
So what, do you plan to compete in fair and honest business? Most cars are already using oil, dipshit. Alfred tries to take out the camera but ends up getting caught in a magnet. Then Lightning and his enemy learn what happened behind them. Axel decides that he'll continue the race, but won't require anyone to use all in all. Quick question for any mechanics out there because this movie doesn't answer for me. Why can't lemons use alternative fuel? Beyond that, why can't they use it in context of this movie? Polly gets caught, and it turns out that Lightning is going to race with all in all anyway. So obviously they want to kill Lightning McQueen. Mater accidentally blows his cover, and then we get more of this crappy Magoosh stick. And hell yeah, Pixar is selling that toy. Mater decides that he has to alert Lightning. It doesn't work, and Mater gets kidnapped. How that happened in a large crowded area, the movie isn't going to bother telling us. Mater gets knocked out, presumably to get crushed in some junkyard somewhere in the middle of nowhere. But first, the dream sequence where Pixar tries to make you feel guilty for making you laugh at Mater's stupidity. No. It doesn't work that way. You cannot make the audience feel guilty for throwing your characters into contrived situations. It shows contempt for your audience. You have the perfect opportunity to kill your enemy, and you tie them up in a convoluted trap in the one place in the world that you don't want them to be. I just love that cliche. And I love it how it's the evil genius professor who always does that. Yeah, they're inside London's Big Ben. Well, their evil scheme is going on in London, presumably past all the security that would guard a famous national landmark. Look, I know that spy films are supposed to push the suspension of disbelief, but that's because they usually have the spectacle to distract from the workings behind it. This movie does not. I mean, it did back at the beginning, but they gave that up to have a disjointed plot and idiot character.
I'm not a spy.
You'd think that an actual secret agent would be able to figure that out. Yeah, he was playing the idiot, especially in the areas where it wasn't fucking necessary.
I'm a fool, and what's happened to McQueen is because I'm such a big one.
It's your fault that evil supervillains are using an electromagnetic cannon in some conspiracy to keep the world on oil? Well, if you insist. So the mechanism of the clock threatens to kill them instead of that junkyard that would have actually done it quicker. And the guys threaten to kill Lightning in front of them. Gotta love cliches. The first movie did, so why stop now? Axel here thanks Lightning for continuing to stick with all in all. So the race begins, and we finally have something the last two had forgotten to add. Suspense. Glad it took them to the last quarter. Wow, Lasseter. That's clever, considering Lasseter wrote and directed this movie, is reputed to love spy movies, and came up with this plot by thinking what would Mater do while he was traveling around the world. Lasseter, I like what you do. You pretty much saved Disney, but even when you're on top of the world, it might be a good idea to listen when someone tells you something is a bad idea. So, Lasseter made a movie that he wanted to make, and usually that's something that I could respect. But you still need to have good judgment in the face of blind passion, or else you make something like Cars 2. Anyway, the Beam fails to kill Lightning. The first time that I watched this, I thought that it was because he went around a turn and behind a building, which would have been a great way to take the plot, instead of what they actually did. It's something that amounts to nothing more than contrivance.
Snuck a bomb in McQueen's pit. The next time he makes a stop, instead of saying ka-chow, he's gonna go kaboom.
Normally I'd complain about revealing the plan, but it's later explained and gives me other stuff to complain about. Anyway, Mater uses his Gatling gun to cut the ropes and escapes. Alfred and Polly say that they'll be fine.
Get some more dents, Mater.
Yes, go get more nicks, bruises, and scars. Go out there and get beat up, Mater.
If I can just reverse the polarity.
Hey, one of the biggest technobabble cliches out there. The clock mechanism breaks the rope because the plot wants it to happen, and they discover that Mater has lost something. Mater tells everyone in the pits that there's a bomb in there, which is exactly what you would do in a crowded area.
To me, the bomb is on you. They knew you tried to help McQueen. When we were knocked out, they planted it in your air filter.
Now, movie, hear me out. What would the bad guys have done if you kept Mater's stupidity in this point and he failed to get to the pit? Lightning would win the race, and the bad guys' plans would be ruined. So Mater starts driving away so Lightning doesn't get blown up.
If you get close to me, you gonna get hurt real bad. I'm the bomb.
Speak coherently! For the love of God! You easily told all those other guys that there's a bomb on you. Also, where the fuck are the other racers? Same amount of words. How hard is it?
Mater, you are the bomb. That's what I'm trying to say here. You've always been the bomb.
God, could you imagine if this movie was good enough to have shippers? And before the bomb could remotely blow up, Mater gets out of range because contrivance. Polly and Alfred chase down Mater and the professor. Alfred eventually catches the professor, but they're about to be dragged in by a magnet on a battleship. We cut back to Mater. Now that the bomb isn't going off, there is no longer any suspense. Alfred blows up the ship, Polly knocks out some goons, and has them beat up in a tavern.
Bomb?
left it to me to kill you as a backup plan.
Backup plan? Mater, who put a bomb on you?
Yes, the plot is convoluted as all hell. Can we please finish up here? So the bomb can only be deactivated by the voice of the one who activated it, and the professor didn't activate it. Then we have an action scene featuring all the guys from the first movie that this movie barely remembered to write in. Seriously. Besides Luigi, none of their names were even fucking mentioned. What's the matter? Couldn't sell any toys of them? They can't remove the bolts on the bomb strapped to Mater.
I get it. I know what needs to be done. Then do it. Look, nobody takes me seriously. I know that now.
Are they really doing what I think they're doing?
You stay. I go. No following.
No, of course not. They wouldn't risk sacrificing any toy sales.
Be yourself here. And if people aren't taking you seriously, then they need to change.
This is why Americans have such a bad reputation in other countries. So Mater has gotten everything figured out in a plot so convoluted, contrived, and stupid that only he could do it. And for some reason he's bringing along lightning.
Who's winning the race?
That's a very good question. Yeah, they're forgetting about the race, something that took up a whole third of the screen time. So they go up to the Queen of England with a bomb. Lassiter, you really think that Mater would do that if he went to London? And I thought that I had a low opinion of the guy.
Just cut to the chase.
Okay, it's him.
What?
What? The guy who invented All in All has been trying to sabotage All in All. How?
I figured it out when I realized y'all attached this ticking time bomb with Whitworth bolts.
And you knew that this guy used those bolts because...
Same bolts that hold together that old British engine from the photograph. Holly, show that picture. And then I remembered what they say about old British engines. If there ain't no oil under them, there ain't no oil in them.
Because he was leaking oil at a party, that means he used the same bolts that was used to fasten your engine, which means that he did it.
This lorry's crazy. He's gonna kill us all.
And the British guards who are protecting the Queen are actually taking a risk on this theory based completely on fucking insanity.
Axelrod created the race, Mater. Why would he want to hurt anyone?
To make All in All look bad, so everybody go back to using oil.
Objection!
If he wanted to make it look bad, then why the fuck didn't he say that the scientists found a problem with them earlier?
This is going nowhere fast. We really should go, Grandmother.
One moment. I'd like to see where this is going.
It's going boom, and you are too if you don't get the fuck out of there!
Found that huge oil field just as the world was trying to find something else.
Objection!
Then he could sell both oil and All in All. He's the only distributor of All in All in the world. And if he invented a new fuel that could theoretically put oil out of business, then why the fuck would he be looking for more oil?
Came up with All in All just to make alternative fuel look bad.
What if? Objection!
Then why would he himself be pushing it? Why would he be bad-talking oil? If a business tycoon wants to sabotage the competition, why wouldn't they make an Elias pushing the stuff to do so? From your theories, Axel is literally the only person in the world with no motive.
Okay, that's it. Clear out. Wait, somebody save me!
Yes, let's leave a rich tycoon to blow up because of a crazy. The pillar isn't that high up. First valid theory I heard about this whole thing. Mater, quick question. What if you're wrong about this? You blow up, he blows up, your new friends blow up, and your best friend blows up, all because you accuse the one person with no motive.
Bomb deactivated. Have a nice day, Sir Axelrod.
Great, the one person from Mater's theories who actually had no motive actually did it. And why the fuck would you leave your name on a bomb? Especially a mastermind like this guy here.
The engine from the photo.
It's a perfect match.
Holly, in how many makes and models did this type of engine appear?
Standard in 7 models over a 12-year period. At least 35,000 cars were made with this engine.
The engine from the photo.
It's a perfect match.
All except the color.
Tow truck, figure it out.
Plot contrivance on the level of fan fiction.
Official, you're coming to all my races from now on.
Because it's just not exciting enough if I don't nearly get killed. So Mater gets knighted. Quick question. Who won the race? You cannot drop a subplot that takes up such a large percentage of the movie like that. So the movie is pretty much telling me that the spy plot was not enough to fill the entire movie. And if you don't have a plot with enough substance to carry a movie, then don't make the fucking movie at all.
This here's Finn McMessin. He's a secret agent. Don't tell nobody.
Hey, let's blow our cover to a bunch of random nobodies.
One thing I still don't get. The bad guys hit me with the beam from the camera, right? So why didn't I...
Well, you did go behind a building, or they can throw something out of nowhere.
Proved that All in All was actually actually gasoline, and Axelrod engineered it so that when it got hit by the beam, it would explode.
Also, maybe this would be a little bit more plausible if he wasn't the one trying to develop an alternative fuel, and it was competition that he was trying to crush.
If you're implying that I switched out that rot-gut excuse for alternative fuel, you're dead wrong, man.
No. You gotta establish things like that. And that doesn't count. It's just another fucking contrivance. And that was John Lasseter's Cars fanfiction, also known as one of the highest budget, low quality toy commercials in quite some time. But in all seriousness, is it the worst film that I've ever seen? No, of course not. But it's not well focused, it expects you to buy things that I doubt even kids would, and its messages are really confused. Not to mention the whole thing just reeks of marketing hacks. Bottom line, if you want a film starring cars for your kids, rent the first one. If you want a spy film for your kids, rent Spy Kids. The first two, not the third one, or the fourth one. And if you want to sell toys, be a toy company, not an animation studio. Mostly though, this film still fails to provide me for a reason why it should exist. I know how it exists. John Lasseter convinced Disney to let him do it by pointing to the toy sales of the first movie, to make a fanfiction he had been working on. But a machine gun mater toy is not a sufficient reason to make a movie. I mean, Equestria Girls created 6 new dolls at least, not 1. And considering that this film made even less than the first one, of course. This one's actually going to be made by Pixar, right?
From Casey, Missouri, and I got my kicks out Route 66, every truck stop from Butte to MO. Motown, New Old Alabama,